Numbers chapter 16. And Korah spoke, the son of Izhar, son of Kohath, son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, sons of Eliab, and On, son of Peleth, son of Reuben. And they rose up before Moses, and the men of the sons of Israel, 50 and 200 chiefs of the congregation, summoned counselors and famous men. They stood together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, Let this suffice to you, seeing that all the congregation are all holy, and the Lord is among them. And why do you stand against the congregation of the Lord? And hearing, Moses fell upon his face, and he spoke to Korah and to all the congregation, saying, God has visited and knows the ones being his, and the ones holy he led to himself, and whom he chose not for himself, he led not to himself. This you do, you take to yourselves censers, Korah and all his gathering, and put fire upon them, and put upon them incense before the Lord tomorrow. And it will be the man whoever the Lord should choose, this one shall be holy. Let it be suitable to you, sons of Levi. And Moses said to Korah, Listen to me, sons of Levi. Is this a small thing to you, that God separated you from out of the congregation of Israel, and led you to himself to officiate the ministrations of the tent of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to serve to them? And he led you and all your brethren of the sons of Levi with you, and do you seek to officiate as priest also? Thus you and all your gathering are gathering together against God. And who is Aaron that you complain against him? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, sons of Eliab, and they said, We do not ascend. Is this a small thing that you led us from out of a land flowing milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you rule us and be a ruler? And into a land flowing milk and honey you brought us, and you gave to us a lot of inheritance of field and vineyards. Would you have cut out the eyes of those men? We do not ascend. And Moses was weighed down exceedingly, and he said to the Lord, Do not take heed to their sacrifice. I have not taken the desire of any one of them, nor inflicted evil on any one of them. And Moses said to Korah, Sanctify your congregation, and come prepared before the Lord, you and they, and Aaron tomorrow. And let each take his censer, and you shall put incense upon them, and each shall bring his censer before the Lord, 50 and 200 censers, and you and Aaron each shall bring his censer. And each took his own censer, and they put upon them fire, and they put upon them incense. And Moses and Aaron stood by the doors of the tent of the testimony, and Korah rose up together against them, the whole of his congregation, by the door of the tent of the testimony. And the glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, Sever yourselves from out of the midst of this congregation, and I will completely consume them at once. And they fell upon their face and said, O God, the God of the spirits and of all flesh, if one man sinned, shall there be upon all the congregation the anger of the Lord? And the Lord said to Moses, saying, Speak to the congregation, saying, Withdraw round about from the congregation of Korah and Dathan and Abiram. And Moses rose and went to Dathan and Abiram, and went with him, and all the elders of Israel. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, Sever from the tents of these recalcitrant men, and do not touch of all as much as is to them. You should not be destroyed together in all their sin. And both Dathan and Abiram left from the tent of Korah. And Dathan and Abiram came forth and stood by the doors of their tents, and their wives, and their children, and their belongings. And Moses said, By this you shall know that the Lord sent me to execute all these works, that they are not of myself. If by the common death of all men these shall die, and if according to the review of all men the visit of death shall be theirs, then the Lord has not sent me. But if by a visible manifestation the Lord shall show, and the earth opening its mouth shall swallow them, and their houses, and their tents, and all as much as is theirs, and they shall go down alive into Hades, then you shall know that these men provoked the Lord. And as he ceased speaking all these words, the earth was torn underneath them, and the earth was opened, and it swallowed them, and their houses, and all the men of the ones being with Korah, and all their cattle. And these went down, and all as many as is to them, alive into Hades. And the earth covered, and they were destroyed from out of the midst of the congregation. And all Israel round about them fled from their sound, saying, Lest at any time the earth shall swallow us. And fire came down, and fire came forth from the Lord, and it devoured the 50 and 200 men of the ones offering the incense. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest. Do away with the censers from out of the midst of the ones having been incinerated, and sow this alien fire there. For they sanctified the censers of these sinners by their lives. And make them into scales hammered out for adornment to the altar. For they were brought near before the Lord and were sanctified. And they became for a sign to the sons of Israel. And Eleazar son of Aaron the priest took the censers of brass, as many as the men having been incinerated brought near, and they added them as an adornment to the altar, as a memorial to the sons of Israel, how that not anyone foreign should come forward who is not from out of the seed of Aaron, to place incense before the Lord, so that he shall not be as Korah and the ones conspiring with him, as the Lord spoke by the hand of Moses to him. And the sons of Israel grumbled the next day against Moses and Aaron, saying, You have killed the people of the Lord. And it came to pass in the gathering together the congregation against Moses and Aaron, that they advanced against the tent of the testimony. And thus the cloud covered it, and there appeared the glory of the Lord. And Moses and Aaron entered by the front of the tent of the testimony. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Withdraw from out of the midst of this congregation, and I shall completely consume them at once. And they fell upon their face. And Moses said to Aaron, Take the censer, and place upon it fire from the altar, and put upon it incense, and carry it quickly into the congregation, and make atonement for them. For anger came forth from the face of the Lord. It has begun to devastate the people. And Aaron took, just as Moses said to him, and ran into the congregation, for already the devastation had commenced among the people. And he put the incense, and made atonement for the people. And he stood between the ones having died and the ones living, and the devastation abated. And the ones having died in the devastation were 14,700, apart from the ones having died because of Korah. And Aaron returned to Moses at the door of the tent of the testimony, and the devastation abated.